evening and good night, great Biafrans and lovers of freedom, and happy new year to all and sundry. This is Radio Biafra HAUSA-SERVICE coming to you via Radio Biafra London. My name remains Mazi Chinedu from Olu province of Biafra land. Today is the first day of January 2023, being Sunday. Obochi Orie. Therefore, without taking any time, I will hand over the platform to the head of the Directorate of States of the Indigenous People of Biafra, Mazi Chika Edoziem. Mazi, the platform is yours, sir. Go on.
Thank you so much. Thank you dearly, Mazi Jonathan. I'm sure you can hear me.
The whole world is hearing you as clear as crystal, sir. Go on.
Good afternoon, good morning, good night to all of you on this very sunny day of the first day of January 2023. I bring to you great and wonderful Biafrans, lovers of freedom, and those who are sympathetic to the cause of the oppressed. I bring you a warm New Year's greeting from the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, the Hamadike one of Biafra land, Nnamdi Kanu, who, as we know, is presently being illegally detained by the abominable contraption called the Zoological Republic of Nigeria. Fellow Biafrans, fellow comrades, you that have remained undaunted, you that have remained devoted, those of you that have remained consistent to the fundamental objectives and guiding principles of this great heaven-ordained movement, those of you that have this great movement, despite the challenges that you may have been confronted with, and those that have remained faithful to the structure he established, it is to you I bring warmest salutation and commendation for your exemplary courage and discipline, because without your courage, without your discipline, we, the indigenous people of Biafra, will not be where we are today in terms of the great and enormous progress and heights attained in our march to freedom. This year 2023, I am confident and I am assured will be a year that will mark the end of the suffering of the children of Chukwukabia. Today marks the 18th month and counting since Nigeria committed an international crime of extraterritorial kidnapping and extraordinary rendition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra worldwide. June 19th, 2021 has gone down in history as a day of infamy for the Nigerian establishment and its Fulanized government. The Directorate of State of the indigenous people of Biafra has left no stone unturned in our effort to unmask those behind this international crime together with their collaborators. And I can confidently and, of course, very gladly inform that our M branch has been able to identify those that has questions to answer in this regard to the Biafra people. The intel at our disposal revealed that certain persons were actually in direct communication with those that carried out this dastardly and evil crime. They were in communication with these evil men while our leader was still being held in Kenya. You can imagine that. You can imagine that they were communicating with those who committed this evil crime, and at the same time, at the same breath, they consciously and deliberately lied to the DOS that they had no knowledge, no prior knowledge of Onyendu's predicament prior to the 27th of June 2021, when the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra was finally brought to the zoo called Nigeria. We shall, of course, make their names public in due course because they have some very, very explaining to give to the Biafran people. We are also aware that notwithstanding the shenanigans and the cropped up charges against Onyendu, a man that has brought out himself for the freedom of his people, a man that heaven has ordained with an enormous and an onerous task to ensure that the children of heaven are extricated from the quagmire that is called the Zoological Republic of Nigeria. We know that in October of last year, after all the efforts that they conspired to keep adjournments and adjournments and adjournments upon adjournment of this very case that has actually nothing in it. A case of someone who is exercising his right to self-determination, which of course we all know that it is an international, that it is a human right. Self-determination is a human right enshrined in charters and in documents that guard and guide international organizations such as the United Nations and the African Union. In October, the Appeal Court of Nigeria in Abuja, which of course their decision is expected, but they had courage and they decided and ordered that Mazi Nnamdi has no case to answer. He has no case to answer because he was exercising a right that is natural to every human being. And he ordered that he be released immediately. In fact, the court ordered for complete acquittal and dismissal of the trumped up charges against it. But as you all know, we are here today, the 1st January of 2023. You can count from October up to this moment. The Zoological Republic of Nigeria, of course, in its own way, known that it has no respect to the rule of law, has refused to carry out the order of its own court, has refused to release the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, has continued to deny him his right, has continued to subject him to all manner of human degradation, torture, physically, mentally, and psychologically in the DSS dungeon in Abuja. We are saying this that the world may understand that, of course, there is a time and there is a limit to a people's patience and what they can bear. Also, in 2021, this great movement, we embarked upon a series of international campaigns for the freedom of the prisoner of conscience, Mazi Nnamdi. Our campaign took us to the European Parliament, where we presented our matter like never before. And we know that those who are in charge in Europe, they know that the people of Biafra deserve better. But what they are lacking at the moment is the will to do the right thing. But they must also as well be aware that there is a limit to a people's patience and what they can take. Our campaign as well took us to Corsica. The indigenous people of Biafra, we were invited for the first time to the Bujamate 2022 International Conference of Emerging Nations in Corsica, France. There we met and made friends, of course, our very dear friend and very, very, very supportive people of Catalonia. They were there. We met the people of Scotland, the Guyanas. We met people of Tahiti, the Basque region, and the rest of them. And our case was very well presented, and of course, people took it upon themselves. They took it upon themselves to engage themselves in ensuring that not only that the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi, received the justice that is due to him, but that the case of the Biafran people is given the international space which it deserves, and which I can assure Biafrans today that is being done without any hesitation. I also want to let Biafrans know that 50 years and counting. Some people will say 60 years and counting. At the end of the genocide committed against the Biafran people, we have been like the seed that was buried under the earth. And we have sprouted, we have grown beyond the imaginations of our enemies. And we know as well that those who hold us down, they are holding us down because they know who you are. And it is for us to do some real soul searching and understand why have our case remained intractable, in the sense that nations are not willing to give the same right to the Biafran people which they have given to nations around the world. They have mentioned genocides that actually they are not 1% in comparison to the abominable, horrific, and horrendous genocide that was committed against the Biafran people. We have searched ourselves. Where did we go wrong? What have we done wrong? And we know that we have done nothing wrong. It is not our fault that we are Biafran. It is not our fault that Chukwu Kikabema has put us in the place where he called homeland for us. And therefore, having known and having seen that international relationships is guided and propelled by interests of nations, the interests of the Biafran people, as I speak to you, has found no outlet among those who are champions of human rights, those who claim to be champions of democracy, those who say that they are there to ensure that every man receives equal treatment and equal hearing. When it comes to the Biafran people, it seems always that the goalpost has always been moved to a different location. Why am I giving you this background? I am giving you this background, and I know that they are listening and they are hearing me. This 2023 will be a different year for the Biafran people. It will be a different year for us in our pursuit for freedom. It will be a different year for us in putting up alliances and making friends. Our diplomatic offensive will have no boundaries anymore. No more boundaries. We will seek out those nations. We will seek out those nations and countries with whom we will understand, or with whom we will have understanding, that we will both enter into a mutually beneficial relationship. Therefore, our diplomatic team will be up and running this very January and going forward. We will seek out nations and people that have listening ear to us, people that we can offer something and they can offer us something in return. A mutually beneficial relationship. It will no longer be a relationship where those who believe that they have the say will neglect our conditions, our needs, our desires, the desires of our people, will not even speak about the massacres that is going on a daily basis of our people. I can tell you as I speak to you today, up in the north, our youth have been taken. They are being forcibly taken away from their homes and moved to the northern region, Niger State specifically. Why are you moving people from one particular region into another region? The reason is simple. Our youth, they want to decimate the number of the Biafran youth through what we know, what we have found out from those who survived these horrors, organ harvested. They take our youth up to the north and harvest their organs, their hearts, their livers, any organ that they believe they can move to the Western world and deplete our numbers and make their useless money out of the suffering of our people. I'm sure those diplomats in the zoo, the British diplomat, the American diplomat, the European representatives, these informations are on their table. Why are they not speaking about it? Because our life does not matter. But we want to tell them this year that our lives, of course, do matter. The lives of the Biafran people matter. And I am happy in the sense that heaven is smiling upon us this very day. It is a beautiful Sunday, the 1st of January. The sun is shining, and that is the way it will be for us as far as this struggle is concerned, because heaven will continue to smile upon us as we move ahead. 2022 was a mixture of positive and very sad moments for us. It is with a very heavy heart that I announce to the world and to the IPOB families worldwide that we lost a hardcore to the core. Mazi Oscar Okeke was our regional representative, our continental regional representative for the Asian continent. We lost men and women in the field. We lost also young men and young women, old and young, mothers and fathers of Biafra land, those who were massacred in Agatu in Enugu, those that Hope Uzodinma is killing in Imo State, those that Dave Umahi is massacring in Ebonyi State, and those that the new governor of Anambra State, Chukwuma Soludo, is also decimating in Anambra State. We lost these men. What their crime? Their crime is nothing but because they are Biafrans. Their crime was nothing only because they were seeking for freedom. Freedom that is a right to every human on this very planet. Why will our own case be different? Therefore, I urge you and I crave your indulgence. Great Biafrans, we will observe this very moment 2 minutes silence in the honor of all our fallen heroes and heroines. We will observe 2 minutes silence in the honor of all our operatives and all the genuine Biafrans who have lost their lives in 2022. 2 minutes silence, please. May the spirit of our great heroes and heroines, the spirit of those who paid the ultimate price for this very noble cause, may their spirit never rest until those who are complicit in their death also receive their recompense from the hand of Chukwuabiama and from the hands of our ancestors. May their spirit never rest until we achieve in their honor this quest for the freedom of the Biafran people. In Chukwuabiama's name, I have prayed. He said. Great Biafran, recollect that last year we encouraged our people to invest in animal husbandry and agriculture. We saw ahead of time and we knew what was coming, and we took the bull by the horn. We specifically directed them to invest in the rearing of our native cow. And I can gladly inform the Biafran people that from the feedback we have received thus far, the information at our disposal, we have reasons to believe that that directive was very timely, very timely, and our people have continued to move away from the consumption of Fulani diseased and infected cows. It is true we have not gotten to the point where we want to be yet, but gradual and seeable and enormous progress have been made in this area. I can tell that as we speak, that this past season of Christmas and New Year, our people had the opportunity, even youths and children who never saw how and what Efibo look like, what our native cow looked like. They have the opportunity to have seen it, and people have used and are using that very, very blessed animal for their occasions, ceremonies, and festivities. Our objective in this regard is to ensure that by the end of this year, in fact, in the next 24 months, our meat needs as it concerns the consumption of cow will be taken care of 70% through the production of these very native cows. The rest, meat need of the Biafran people, the 30%, will be made up by the rearing of our local goats, the rams, the fowl, the chicken that is part of it, the fish farms, and of course the bushmeat that we are also blessed with in our land. Also, we know that our leader set up the Eastern Security Network when it became very obvious that those who had the responsibility to protect their people, those who love to be called elders, leaders, political, intelligentsia, and all whatnot, they relinquished their responsibility when our people were falling victim and being chased in their farmlands, our farms being destroyed, our people being massacred, our women being defied and decapitated in our land, the land being desecrated. These men who rather will hide under the wrapper of their wives, they said nothing, they did nothing. They did nothing. They watched their people being massacred and they could not raise a finger. It was not as if our leader did not bring this sorry situation to their attention. He did, as he always did. He brought it to their attention and pleaded with them to set up a mechanism that will protect our land and protect our people. They turned him on and on and on, and they did not. ESN was born out of necessity. ESN was created for a very, very important and single objective: the protection of the Biafran territory, the protection of the Biafran land, the farmlands and forests, and of course, the protection of the Biafran people. This outfit is our defense shield, and this outfit has come to stay. The authorities of this very, very outfit, they are a disciplined crop of Biafran men and women trained on their core duty of safeguarding Biafran farmlands, forests, and bushes against invading Fulani headsmen. I wish to repeat this. These men and women, these very hardcore men and women who have in fact denied themselves all comfort, they were trained on their core duty of safeguarding Biafra land, safeguarding our farmlands, our forests, and our bushes, and our women, and our men, of course, from and against the invading Fulani headsmen. This outfit was not set up for any other activity or any other people what people may be imagining. We know the propaganda going on in the Zoo media. These are distractions. For the avoidance of doubt, therefore, these men and women, they put their lives on the line. They put their lives on the line to make sure that the lives of Biafrans is secured, and therefore cannot, will not, now, tomorrow, or ever do anything or engage in any form of criminal activity in whatever shape or of whatever nomenclature. The battle that is going on and being, propagated against the Eastern Security Network is for one purpose. I can remember when I addressed the Biafran people at the very beginning of the challenge that we have faced ourselves. The challenge I'm talking about is the crime committed against our leader. I told the Biafran people that the enemy, that the agent provocateur that they brought in our midst, they have 4 objectives. Their first objective is to destroy, demonize, and destroy the leadership. We thank Chukwu Okike Abiyama for his message, because we are standing and unwavering. Second, they want to make sure that they destroy our media outlet, that Radio Biafra, that hallowed platform, that place that Onyendu has given us the truth, preached to us, that hallowed platform where he has exposed the evil of the zoo and all their collaborators in Britain and the other Western world. They wanted to shut us off. They wanted to close Radio Biafra London, and we know what happened sequentially. But also, again, I thank Chukwu Okike Abiyama because he is fighting our battle. Thirdly, they want to stir this movement of funds, because we know in a freedom fighting, yes, you will have the men, you will have the women, you will have those who volunteer and dedicate their life. But together with all this, funding is essential. It's imperative if any freedom fighting movement want to succeed. They attacked our finances. They turned people, or they try to turn people away from contributing to this noble cause. They raised in the name of ESN and in the name of IPOB uncountable, or they organized, let me put this way, of course they raised, we know, but they organized uncountable fundraising in the name of and in order to put fatigue in our people, in their honest and truthful desire to support financially. And I can assure you as well that they have failed. They have failed because 18 months and counting, we are where we are. We have made more progress than they can even imagine. And the hardcore are not going anywhere. Finally, their target was the Eastern Security Network, which is the ongoing battle. Their target is to demonize Eastern Security Network. Their target was, and still is, to term Eastern Security Network as a criminal outfit. Their target is to spread the narrative that these very honorable men and women engage in all manner of crimes, all manner of evil against their own people. How can that be? How can it be that men who lay their lives down on the line for their people will turn against them and begin to harass them. That is not why the Eastern Secret Network was set up. The Eastern Secret Network, of which Mazi Kanu is its supreme commander, as he is also the supreme leader of this movement, cannot engage in any criminal activity in the hallowed land of Biafra. Any man or any authority that derails and goes out of the core duty of safeguarding our land and our people, the land of Biafra, of course, and the spirit of our ancestors, will not give that person a chance. He will not even live to tell the story. Great Biafra and lovers of freedom, it is from this very humble beginning of about 50,000 operatives of the Eastern Secret Network, I can proudly tell you that we have now not less than 200,000 men and men who are ready and willing to defend our ancestral land and our people. We have these men, and they know why they have become part of this very elite outfit. And with this, I want to tell Biafrans today, the 1st January of 2023, that no one will enter our community anymore. Enter our community again and massacre our people, kill our people without. We will begin this very year, and let's not forget, please, all IPOB family members. Of course, we have observed 2 minutes silence today, but as you start your first meeting of the year, Continental Rails, please pass this information and this directive across to every national coordinators and all national coordinators, parties that are around and across, down to all your zones and all your units. Before we commence any meeting for the year, 2 minutes silence. Plans and expectations of this very great movement in this very year will begin thus. I was saying as well that last year, and in fact immediately after our leader was kidnapped and renditioned extraordinarily back to the zoo, many joined into this very movement for the good thing is all that plan did not succeed, and it will not succeed. Now going forward, we will begin this year with the renewal of our oath at all levels. IPOB family members, continental reps, national coordinators, zonal unit coordinators, put the mechanism in place so that every hardcore IPOB family member must renew his or her oath to work assiduously in, and there will be some processes or procedure that must be followed in doing this. The oath must be taken without shoes and without cap on the head of any man that wishes to take this oath. No shoes for the man or woman, but no cap for the men as they take this very oath. during the oath-taking ceremony. The oath must as well be administered by coordinators at all levels and on individual basis, please. Not on a chorus basis, not on a group basis. Everybody will be saying the same thing at the same time. No. Individually, each man must stand by himself. Each man must stand, each woman must stand, no shoes on your feet, for the man, no cap on your head, and you take the oath as the coordinator will lead you in doing this oath taking. In addition to the renewal, of the oath of present IPOB family members, any new prospective IPOB family, any new person wishing, desirous of being part of this very movement, part of this family, must undergo this oath-taking process before one is deemed to partake in our meetings and, of course, to be part of this noble family. Also, I know, and the leadership has deliberated upon this. We are aware that some amongst us, some of little faith, I would say, lost their bearing at a moment when we were confronted with this enormous challenge and challenges that came our way. These among us lacked the requisite discipline that is needed to face down the enemy with unwavering focus and dedication. We say we are without fear before our enemies. Freedom fighting is not a tea party. And if you cannot stand your ground, if you move, your place or your ground will be taken over by your enemy. Therefore, many lacked that requisite discipline, that requisite conviction, that unwavering dedication and focus, and they fell easily to the fraud of the agent provocateurs. They allowed themselves to be cajoled and deceived by these agent provocateurs because they took their eyes off the ball of the Biafran restoration project, the ball of the freedom of the Biafran people, the ball of the liberty and the restoration of our core value systems. They forget why they joined this very movement in the first place. It is because they took their eyes off the ball and went out of the line. They offended the spirit of Biafra land, and upon that they urinated upon the graves of our gallant heroes and heroines, past and present. These, and I'm talking about those who may have or who have genuinely and honestly and truthfully realized the wrong path that they took. And we know that they have learned a lesson in a bitter way. And also that the offended spirit of Biafra and our ancestors are willing to pardon those amongst them that honestly and sincerely wish to come back to the family. However, there will be a procedure to follow as well in readmitting those that were suspended for insubordination, and each case will be treated on its own very merit. The procedure will be made available through a memo from my office to the continental reps, and then they will pass it on to their subordinates. This year again, as we are pursuing to ensure that our people, as they have their food sufficiency in terms of meat consumption, we know as well that food security is a national security question for all nations and all people. And for us, it is not only a national security matter, it is as well an existential question for the Biafran people. And in recognition to this, we are today as well calling upon our people to embark upon agricultural revolution in our land. We have heard the northern people not once, not twice, not three times, time and time and again, they will say that they are stopping food produced in the northern part of the zoo from coming down to our region, to our land, to Biafra land. I'm sure we are not stupid. Even when they send some of those food they produce, how sure are you that they did not poison them as they poisoned them during the war? Therefore, we cannot leave our fate in the hands of our enemies. Those who we know, they hate us with passion. Those we know, they will not bat an eyelid to wipe us out of the face of the earth. I call upon all of you, young men and women, those who have concluded or rounded up their studies and you have no work at the moment. Stop going from one office to the other. Go and take a small portion of land and begin this revolution, because it will start in a very small way before it will grow into the behemoth that it will be in the coming months and years. The IPOB leadership in this regard and in this vein therefore have set up another department in the IPOB departmental structure, the agricultural department of the indigenous people of Biafra. The details will not be made public here, but my appellation, my message to all of you in Biafra land today, this year we will embark upon the farming of such basic foodstuffs and crops like rice, yam, cassava, maize, corn, and vegetables. The rest will come in gradually. But when you want to start, any of you, take one of these that I mentioned now and give it your time, give it your energy. Believe that this is your project and make it to succeed, because you will then become part of the history that will be written about the Biafran agricultural revolution in the coming years. Great Biafran people, we are entering into this year with great hopes and great expectations. And one of which is what every peace-loving person, men of conscience, women of conscience, people that love liberty and freedom are expected. The release of our leader, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Kanu. The zoo have no option. The zoo have no option. The British authorities, they abandoned their citizens. The American authorities, nobody is speaking about this crime against humanity that has been meted upon this very young man. The European Union, they are not speaking. The African Union is nowhere to be found, neither is the ECOWAS. Nobody can hear, nobody can see them. Their silence is as loud as it is unheard. But be encouraged. Be encouraged, great Biafrans, because heaven is with us. Heaven is with us, and Chukwu Abiyama is about to do great things in the land of Biafra and in the life of his children, the Biafran people. I have 3 announcements to make, and it's as follows. The following new responsibilities are hereby confirmed. Mazi Emmanuel Onyeukwu, Mazi Emmanuel Onyeukwu is hereby appointed the new IPOB National Coordinator for Zoo Nigeria, and he replaces Mazi Subai Goodluck Jonathan. Mrs. Joyce Nneka Chikwem. Mrs. Chikwem is the new national coordinator for IPOB family in the United Arab Emirates. Mazi Kennedy Uchenna Nwa Ede will deputize for Mrs. Joyce Nneka Chikwem for the IPOB family in UAE. The Deputy National Coordinator for IPOB Suriname, Mazi Chukwu Edoziem. Mazi Chukwu Edoziem, the Deputy National Coordinator for IPOB in Suriname, should, as a matter of urgency, contact the IPOB South American Continental Representative and act accordingly as he will be instructed by the Continental Rep. Let me hasten to add that he, Mazi Edoziem, has a 7-day timeline to do this, to make this contact and to carry out instruction that will be passed down onto him, after which the leadership will take very necessary actions. This year will also be a year that will come with very strict adherence to IPOB guiding rules and principles. Very strict adherence to IPOB guiding principles and rules. Our fundamental objectives must be pursued unwaveringly and without further distraction. Therefore, IPOB coordinators at all levels are administrative officers of IPOB. IPOB coordinators at all levels around the world. You are the administrative officer. You are, in fact, the one in charge of the family that you coordinate. be it a unit, a zone, a state, a nation, or a continent. And this is in consonance with our chain of command, from which begins from the unit level to the continental levels of all the continents we have in the world. These coordinators and representatives, they are therefore forthwith precluded from having any meeting with the officers of the finance department without the express and prior approval of the continental rep under whose area of authority a particular country falls into. What am I saying? What I'm saying is that if you're a coordinator, you coordinate our family. If you have in your executive a finance officer who is an executive of within your executive, a person, this is the person that the people in the finance department will be dealing with, in the sense that the finance department cannot call you to a meeting or order you to come to a meeting for any reason from today without the express approval and the authorization of the continental rep of the country that may be of particular interest to the finance department. And this order must be followed without any disregard, because there will be very dire consequences that we follow if there is any disregard to this very order today. Things must be done as they should be done, and no one will be allowed to bastardize this very structure that Onyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has put in place. All the names and new responsibilities take immediate effect, and every family member in the areas mentioned, please accord due respect to all these officers, due support, so that they can effectively and efficiently carry out their responsibilities. I want to state again that these appointments that were announced on the 9th of September 2022 has not been revoked and therefore still stands. I'm going to repeat this appointment that was made on the 9th of September 2022, and they are as follows. Mazi Mike Ezebiro was appointed the IPOB Anambra North Senatorial Coordinator. Mike Ezebiro was appointed by this leadership as the IPOB Anambra North Senatorial Coordinator, and that stands. Mazi Mike Nweze was appointed the local government coordinator for IPOB Nnewi North. These appointments stand. Mazi Izuchukwu Neta was appointed IPOB Obaru local government area zonal coordinator by this leadership. These appointments stand. And Mazi Noel Okongo, the former secretary of Omoba, IPOB Omoba Owanyang Zone, was appointed as well the zonal coordinator for this very unit in Biafra land, and this appointment stands. Please, Biafra land national coordinator, Anambra state coordinator, take note. Take note, please. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of discipline at all levels of our structure. Every principal servant of this movement, every principal officer of the indigenous people of Biafra must report to her immediate superior. Our command and control principle is an indispensable and integral tool in our operations and for our successes so far, for that matter. Therefore, nobody should toil or play with this very principle. There is no middle way as we move ahead. There will be no middle way. Either you are in or you are out. Wonderful Biafrans, friends, and lovers of freedom, may Chukwu Abiyama take the place of honor in our journey to freedom. May he guide our feet in only one direction, the road to a free, sovereign, and independent Biafran nation. May he strengthen all true and honest IPOB family members worldwide. And above all, may Chukwu Abiyama, the creator, the maker of the seen and the unseen, and may our ancestors guard, protect, direct, and lead Mazi Nnamdi, our supreme leader, the leader of the Biafran people. Thank you for listening on this very day, the first day, January 2023. Long shall Mazi Nnamdi live. Long shall you, IPOB hardcore family members, ESN operatives, long shall you live, and long live Biafra and the rising sun. Allow them to succeed. Only unto Chukwu Abiyama we bow down to. Only unto him who knows and who